and YouTube Live. This is your Coach Renz. I apologize for starting late. Had some things to finish up. Yeah, I just put my hand all in the YouTube camera. I mean Facebook camera. But I want to appreciate anybody who signs on right now. Please go ahead and forward this, save it, whatever you do. Share it is the word I was actually looking for. Share this with other people. Please share, please share, please share. I know that we are starting late. I know I'm starting late. I apologize for that, but we had some unexpected things to do with the store and with some other technical difficulties. I don't see. I wanted to share this more on some of my other Facebook pages. I don't see how I can share it, but that's okay. If you guys have seen some of the commentary on this in the video, the ad earlier today, and that ad was really just it's about what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the do's and don'ts of a blended family, and I really want you guys to be able to. I've dealt with it. I dealt with it myself. How you Byron on YouTube, but I dealt with it myself as a child, in a sense, with the family. I've also dealt with it as an adult. Got one brother say I don't think we should mix. Just my opinion, and for DNA purposes, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't see color really. This when I talk about blended family, I'm not just talking about blending by race. I'm talking about blended families. Period. Two black couples who are formerly divorced and y'all got kids and you coming together. If you black, if you white, it really doesn't matter. Josh, I'm gonna need you to share this for me on Facebook to the to Kevin's page because I can't share it off right here. But blended families, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the first thing out there about if you have problems with racial blended families, you really need to ask yourself, are you truly a conscious person? Because if you are, then you got to pay. I don't care if you're DNA and you right. If you talk about DNA, you have to know we all got the same DNA. You can talk about melanin all you want to, but melanin only goes so far. We all are energetic beings. We all share energy. So when you break things down into just a racial component, you kind of lose. You're losing. You're in a losing standpoint there because we are much deeper, much bigger than a race. There is no such thing as race. Race was created by racist people in order to hold one group down over the other. Because before that, before anthropologists really got their hands in, there was no such thing as race, right? And I can't get over that movie Get Out. You got to realize it's a movie. It ain't life. It's a movie, right? I mean, I know I reference a lot of movies that have good points and meanings, but if we get stuck, I'm gonna stick this one real quick. If we get stuck in race, then how do you ever expect the consciousness of the planet, the consciousness of people, to be able to rise up for us to ever get to a point where we actually take care of this planet, where we take care of the homeless, the sick, the shut-in, the orphans, and the widows? We'll never take care of these people if we stuck on some race, right? So we got to let that go. I know you're struggling, and a lot of people feel justified in their struggle with it, but we got to get past that. All right, little guy, I appreciate it. Come by my store. You know, we can chop it up a bit. That'd be cool. But we got to get past the race part, because the race part is a made-up thing. It's made up. It's created by people who just want to have dominance over other people. You're welcome, David. So let that. I know it's going to be hard, but you can get over that, because that's one of the things that's difficult. Now, when you are, I will say, in a country like America, in certain other countries, when you are in an interracial relationship, yes, it is very difficult. There are some struggles that you're going to have that other people won't have. Let me tell you a quick story about that. So a few years ago, my oldest daughter and my middle daughter, they're in a car wreck, right? When they have the car wreck, they go to the hospital out in Paulding County. Their mother is now in a mixed marriage, and when they showed up, the nurses didn't want to give them service. They was being very slow about it. They was being, they had an attitude. Now, when I showed up and they thought that, okay, me and Kim were together, then they was more expedient in getting things done. But when they saw that it was a mixed couple, all of a sudden they got attitudes. So in the country, yeah, you got to deal with things like that. And if you're in a blended family, that's something you got to consider, that you're going to have some struggles like that. But that's outside society. Right? Everyone is not the same. When we learn to feel energy instead of seeing skin, we are on our way to becoming our best selves. Exactly, Sharice. I think I'm saying your name right, Sharice. But exactly when we feel energy, because at the end of the day, the law of vibration clearly makes it known that we are all just energy. That's it. You're not the bone. You're not the skin. You're not any of these things. You're all pure energy. You should get a webcam for the live streaming. I'm using my phone. It'll be all right. Because you can't think of things to say. Oh, but the thing about it is we're energy. So while we focus on this means nothing. Your gender means nothing. To be honest, your gender doesn't even exist. Right? Your gender is just a manifestation of the law of gender of both male and female energy on this understanding, this plane. So we worry about the wrong things. And when we're talking about a blended family, the most important part, the most difficult part is the kids. It's children. It's how do we deal with kids? What do the kids call the other parent? How do the kids react and respond to the other parent? How does discipline work in the house? How is the total extension of the family? You see, I know I purposely made sure that I maintained a very good relationship with my kid's mother. I made sure that when I got married that the relationship between her and the two women would be a good relationship. I made sure that I give every courtesy to her husband so that we can have a good relationship, because at the end of the day, the overarching idea of having a blended family, if you got when there's kids involved, it's about the kids. You are parents first. I don't care who cheated on who abused who did whatever, who said whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters first is the children, right? Nick said, I don't think we will fully get past the race issue. We will never get fully past the race issue. And even if we get past the race issue, when Europe was all white, they got mad at each other because they was from different countries. When Africa was all black, they got mad at each other because they were from different tribes. When the Chinese fought the Japanese, we'll find a reason to hate one another. There's always be somebody trying to find a reason to hate somebody. But I think the first thing we have to but that comes to recognizing that we are all just energy. So let's get past that. But let's tackle what people are dealing with on a daily basis. You see, I'm a black man in America, but I don't deal with racism every day. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't deal with it every day. Every day I'm not fighting racism. Every day somebody's not coming in here calling me names. And every day the police aren't coming into my store harassing me. Every day there's not a mob of people standing outside picketing my company. Every day I'm not experiencing that. But if I'm in a blended family, I'm 46 years old. I have 3 kids, 21, 18, and 16. And please don't nobody get mad at me. I refuse to even date a woman who does not already have kids. I would not date a woman who doesn't have kids. That just would not happen. So she has to already have kids, because I'm not producing any more children. I'm too old. It's too late in my life that I want to have kids. I'm ready to be like married and single, where we go do whatever the heck we want to do without worrying about kids. So a woman saying, "Oh, let's have a baby," that's not going to happen. So I know that I will be with a woman who has children. So I don't deal with race. I wouldn't deal with racism every day, but guess what? I will deal with every day. Every day I'm coming home to a woman who has children from a previous relationship. Every day I'm with that kid. I'm with those children. My kids, even though they're older now and they act like they don't have time to spend with their daddy no more, because they got lives. They start turning 21, 16, 18. They got lives now. But when we are together, my kids will be with me, and my kids will be with her. So you don't deal with racism every day, but you're going to deal with having the children every day. And if you don't have a good working relationship with the children's parents, with both parents, like I've dated some women who had kids. The first thing in my brain when it came to the kid is making sure that me and the father were good to go. Me and the father have to be good to go. Me and the father have to have a good understanding of one another. Otherwise, because I'm not trying to step on his toes as a father, and I'm not trying to go outside of how he wants to raise his son or daughter. I want to make sure that we're in sync and have a unified mind. When it comes to the woman who has to get, I want to make sure her and I and him and we all are in sync. And if he has a wife, I need all of us have to be in sync to ensure that the child gets proper parenting, right? Thank you for visiting me on my live. I appreciate that. But we got to make sure, that's my mindset. That's all I'm thinking about when it comes to the children, is that we all have to come together as adults, as grown people. There's too many times I've seen where the parents are using the children to hurt the other parent. When the parents are using the children to hurt the other parent, at the end of the day, the only people you're hurting is the children. You're not hurting the other parent, really. You're hurting the children. So a blended family, you have to consider those things. You have to consider how the child is reacting, responding to another family member, another adult coming in who's a parent. And even in your dating, you have to consider what kind of a parent this person is going to be. Nick on YouTube says, I'm with you on that. When it comes to the family, children, when it comes to family and children, then I don't care if your race is, what your race is. You live under my roof or I'm taking care of you, then you're my responsibility. Exactly. I mean, because you're in that situation. Like I said, I know that whomever I marry, she's going to have children. That's the bottom line. It's just what it's going to be. We all have to function together. And that's the extent of the function. It'd be great if the grandparents and uncles and aunts are on team as well. But, main thing is the people that we come home to every day. LaShawn says, when they're teens, it's kind of difficult. Yes and no. I mean, a smaller child is easier, but a smaller child can easily get confused. Teenagers, you can talk to more logically. It's just you can't come in trying to dominate teenagers. With teenagers, you have to be more cerebral with them. See, like my kids, like I said, they're 21, 18, and 16. A woman coming into my life, she would have to spend time with them, talking to them on a logical level, kind of talking to them almost like I'm an adult, but I'm a friend kind of level. And that's the thing about teenagers. You can't come into the teenagers and all of a sudden you want to start barking orders and all that kind of stuff. Now, yes, you're going to have a certain way of living in the house, and the kids need to make sure that they respect the parents, but you develop that over time with teenagers. Teenagers, you have to look at the long term. Smaller kids are easier to gravitate towards you, but you got to be mindful. A small child can have so much loyalty towards their parents and still want their parents to be together that small child can just resent you and resent your presence, because what they really want is their mom, or what they really want is their dad. They really want their parents to be together. So it's all dicey, but here's the key to it. Learn each child's personality. If you take the time, and this is the part that we don't do as parents. As parents, we grew up thinking children, a lot of people grew up telling the children, be quiet and just listen. You should be seen, not heard. I'm an adult, do what I tell you to do. But really, no matter how old the child is, as an adult, as a cerebral adult, you should learn that child's personality. You should take the time to get to know the child. See what makes the child tick. What makes the child come to an understanding so that y'all can develop a relationship. That's just how that has to work. Like the last young lady I dated, she had a small son. And when I first started spending time with him, I spent a lot of time just listening to him, right? Just listening and seeing how he thinks and what he thinks about things. And I would ask him questions, like we would do stuff and I would ask him what he thinks about it, how he thinks about it, and get his intake. Yeah, he's a little kid and sometimes his mind be all over the place and they say some crazy stuff. But what I'm trying to find out is how is he receiving information? How is he receiving things? And I've spent the time to learn the kid, right? And I learned his personality, and by doing that, you know, we got better. LaShawn says, like Young Pharaoh said, don't whoop kids, right? It depends, man. Some it depends. It depends on the child's personality. My oldest girl, I had to whoop that tail. My son, I had to whoop that tail. My middle girl, I never ever. She may have gotten it like 3 times in her entire life, and she's 18. It depends on the kid and depends on what they did and how well they can take instructions verbally. Because some of these jokers, they need a little. I'm just saying, people gonna have different opinions on that one. They gonna get a little rat-a-tat-tat every now and then, but. When it comes to a blended family, though, that's something that you have to establish. You really have to establish how you're going to punish a kid. Now, I would make a kid do some squats in a heartbeat, where they just hold in that squat position real low with the threat of that beatdown. The threat of a beatdown on a small kid while they're doing some squats is pretty good. I'm going to tell you guys something funny. I'm telling other folks' business right on this one. So, like I said, the last young lady I dated, she had a small son, right? And when he would not do well in school, I would make him do some squats. If I was picking him up and I was the first parent, adult there with him. And, I didn't hit the boy, but I would make him do squats. So, one day, he get to talking, get to running his mouth to his mother, talking about, but it's kids talk. He's like, when Mr. Lorenzo make me do squat, it is so hard, man. I mean, he do it and it be rough. But when you make me do squats, it's so easy. I can handle it. Man, she got so mad. She made that boy do some squats right there. And because she was feeling some kind of way about the fact that he said her squats were lightweight. But, it's things like that, learning the kid, man. You get to understand the kid better by listening to them and paying attention to what the kids are doing and saying. Lil Guy says, I have 4 kids. They don't get whoopings. If it's a new man around, he better not put his hands on my kids. Is the only rule. And if that's a rule that y'all can do, if you and whoever the kid's mommy, if that's what y'all got, if that's what it is, then that's how y'all work it out. But that's the thing. Y'all got to be in league. That's what I'm saying about parents. Parents have to be in league. And I'm sorry, Facebook, y'all ain't saying nothing. So, YouTube I'm reaching up to see the questions on YouTube, but that's what I'm saying. You got to get on team as parent. You got to be team parents. But unfortunately, some parents use whoopings to take it out their frustrations on their kids. Yes, and if you're taking out frustrations on kid by whooping them, then you simple. Like, I've never whooped my kids out of anger. When they were even no matter how angry I was, I may tell them right now, I love you, but I'm very, very disappointed in you, and I don't like you. I tell my children that plenty of time, and I would have to step away, walk away, go somewhere and collect my thoughts because, I was feeling some kind of way about it. And you have to do it. You have to do that sometime. My oldest girl decided she wanted to play mom and pop against me, her mom, and her 2 step-parents, so to speak, the step-parent title. She wanted to play games like that. And, I was ready to, I wanted to throw her off of a building, but I had to take some time. I had to take 3 days. I was so irritated with that little girl then. At Josh, you ain't got fly sense. Oh. But, so dealing with blended families is really about communication. You really, really, really have to take that time to communicate. You really, really have to establish the rules in the house, right? And Josh Thomason just whoop me so my thighs don't burn. Yeah, them thighs will burn. You put some kid in some squats, or you tell them to get in that push-up position and just hold that push-up position, because that was another good one. They just hold that push-up position, right? And then I'm like, lift up. Lift your butt up. Straighten your back out. And with little kids that work. Now, when you got teenagers, you got to be a little bit more creative, and you can communicate better. And then there's different punishments of, electronics, time spent with friends, being in their room, in the house, take all the good stuff out of the house. One lady I knew, her daughters were acting, they were acting so crazy. She took the doors off their room, off the hinges, because she was like, you don't deserve a door. You don't deserve to get to close your door. So it's all about being creative when it comes to the discipline of it. But the other aspect of it is you got, sharing time together. Let the kids see that the parents are on teams, right? That this is, you can't play us. You can't play the parents. Parents got to be on team. They got to be on the same side. Right? How you doing, Shondell? The parents have to be on the same side. The way the kids lose and the way the parents lose is when the woman has kids. She meet a new man, but the father, the birth father, he's in their lives, but he got ego issues, and he's saying, well, I don't want them to call him. They ain't gonna call him daddy, and I'm the father, and they just trying to lord over somebody else's house. But I'm sorry, bro, that ain't your house no more, and the kids don't live in your house. So your ability to have authority over that house is only going to go so far. If you don't live in the house with the kids, you can't rule the other house. And you're not going to be able to make the rules in that house. Especially when that other man is in that house financially taking care of your kids as well as your financials. But if they're under that man's roof as well, then you need to shut down your ego and recognize that and say to yourself, is this man, is he a good role model for my kids? And how can we develop the child together instead of you trying to let your ego and you trying to, have your, you trying to measure your penis? Because if you're doing that, then all you're going to do is create a situation where your baby mom is going to be pissed at you because you're disrupting things in her house. The dude ain't going to try to work with you because you're disrupting things in his house. The kid going to start acting out because they think they can play y'all against one another. And you sitting up there with your little pride chest sticking out, but all you're raising is a horrible child. You're screwing up your kid because you want to have some pride issues. You got to let that go. And if you're a woman and you by yourself, or you got a man and your baby daddy, ex-husband, whatever he is, he gets another woman and they living life fantastic and having a good time and doing all these things and doing things that y'all can't do, and you get your panties all in a bunch and you want to try to say things and corrupt what's going on in his house because you jealous, you need to let that go. Because trust me, when that child gets older, they're going to realize that you were being resentful and causing problems and creating separation and division that was unnecessary. So everybody got to get out of their ego. They got to get out of their ego and she goes. LaShawn said, or get out and let him go. I'm not understanding the get out and let him go part. I mean, are you saying like if the dude is outside the house and he's the kid's father, but he's trying to ruin somebody else's house, why are you going to get rid of that dude? You already got rid of the husband, the baby's father, so you're going to get rid of another guy because the baby's father got problems? Man, please. Then I wouldn't even want to deal with a woman like that. Byron says, my wife and I are raising a child we adopted. What do you think about blending an adopted child into your family? All right, so let's tackle Byron's question. You guys got some comments. Go ahead and throw them out there. So you got if you already have biological children and then you'll go and adopt the child, you really have to teach the biological children that blood does not make family. Family is made by relationships. Family is made by trust. It's made by caring. It's made by relationship. So the children need to understand that, so that there's no bullying going on. There's no separation in mindset that, well, I'm the real son, I'm the real daughter, and they just brought you in because they were being charitable. They have to understand that family is deeper than that. There are some people who are my friends that I have deeper relationships than people that I have blood connection with, because of the development of the relationship, the care that's within the relationship, the things that we've experienced together, done together. So the kids got to get on that team, and then the parents you have to let everybody experience that. You have to show them that. You don't show any. Sometimes adoptive parents go overboard in trying to make the adopted kid feel special, and then they wind up not showing the birth kids the same amount of love. You got to make sure that you're showing the same amount of love to all the kids, and the same amount of discipline to all the kids, the same amount of disappointment to all the kids, the same amount of everything to all the kids based on their personality. Hard to be on team when one person knows it all. Yeah, if you got to know it all, then it is hard to be on one team. All you can do is try. You can't convince another adult to be anything other than what they are. You can try to explain it to them. You can do your best to be a team player without sacrificing your home, sacrificing your kids, sacrificing your relationship. If the other person doesn't want to be a team player, if they want to be poison, let them be their poison. But don't push mind. Let them realize on their own as they get older the poison that the other person is doing. It's difficult. It may take the kid some time. The kid may act out, and you'll have to deal with that. It won't be all rainbows and sunshine, but let them do it. You have to. I can only be the best father I can be. You know, my kids pick on me because every time I see them or talk to them, they always talk about I'm trying to give them some life lessons, right? But that's me. That's just me, right? I was doing it when me and their mom was married. I will do it till I'm dead. They will continuously get life lessons from me. When I'm 100 years old, I will still be trying to give them jokers some life lessons. That's just who I am. So you got to let people be themselves. Now, if somebody can't see that you're trying to just raise great kids and have a great life yourself, if they are stuck on stupid, you just got to let them stay stuck on stupid and do your job. Do your job. And let the kids know that, hey, I'm just trying to do the best by you. I'm just trying to make your life as grand as possible. I know, and more than likely, I'm going to be with somebody who has old, teenage kids. Now, I know it's going to take time. I know it's going to take, because they've already had experiences. They've already dealt with people. So I know I'm going to have to take a lot of time, not so much winning them over. I'm not trying to buy anybody, but I know it's going to take some time. But we may not have a full relationship until they're almost adults, but but the relationship with family and kids don't stop just because they turn 18. It continues for the rest of their life, because they're going to be grandkids, right? They're going to be grandkids and all that stuff. So you got a lot of time to develop this. Don't feel like you got to be in a rush. You got time, plenty of time. Chandel said, wish I could have caught this from the beginning. Just turned 40 in September. My dating pool includes women who have children, some of whom have more than one father. So my forever, right? That's what I was saying in the very beginning. It's going to be blended, and I'm going to be a blended family, and you just have to be able to take the time to get to know each individual child, and be patient. I agree. At the end of the day, you have to make you and your mate are in agreement to support the kids as much as possible. Dewana says hubby is the know-it-all. Well, hubby needs to slow it down. And sometimes when you got to know it all, you got to kind of inadvertently let them figure out that they're wrong. It's a little game, it's a little trick, but inadvertently let them know they're wrong. Is kind of like a little mind twist on them. Byron is also thinking dropping kids off at 18 and telling him that to find themselves. Exactly. I used to work when I was an IT guy. I came to Atlanta, and the first IT job I got in Atlanta was with this company, this school, this IT training school. And one of the things that I found impressive is that it was owned by these two Indian brothers. They were from India, and they had their wives and they had their kids, and all of them lived together with their parents in their early 30s, and all of them lived together with their parents in a nice size house where everybody had room, and they were doing them advice, teaching them, and that sort of thing. And they were 30 years old. American families want to kick you out at 18, go get a job at 18, go live your life at 18. Now, I didn't have a lazy joker sitting up in your house, no. But your parenting doesn't stop when they're 18. Your parenting continues. It continues forever. You will always be their parent. So don't let it stop just because they turn 18. That's asinine. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we have to get out of that mindset. We have to get out of this mindset where that's how we do it. The 18, they should know better. At 18, I was stupid. I was an idiot at 18. I didn't know what the heck I was doing at 18. At 18, let me tell you, this is how dumb I was at 18. I remember I got married at 19, and I had to get, and then I went to Desert Storm, and then it was like, okay, now I got to get a place for me and my wife. I went there thinking that, okay, I'm just going to go there and sign a lease. Man, they start talking about deposits and first month rent and last month rent, and then the water people want to deposit, and the gas people want to deposit, and electric people want to deposit. Everybody want all these deposits, and I didn't know what. And I called my mom. I was like, Mama, what is all these people asking me for money? They trying to scam me? And I didn't know, because I was 19, married, you know. Actually, by the time I got back from Desert Storm, I was 20. So I'm 20 years old, I'm married, and I had no idea how to get a place to live. I didn't know. So my mom had to, you know, she had to school me, you know, on how to get a place to live, because I didn't know. I mean, I had no idea. So parenting doesn't stop. This doesn't stop then. And getting ready to have when my daughter Sydney was born, she was born premature. She was in the hospital for 3 months. We missed all the baby, mommy and me's and baby classes since she was born early, because we were supposed to take them right after. Right, I was done from 18 to 30. Me too. So I'm 25. My daughter's born. We couldn't feed the poor child. Right? 20. Yes, I was married at 20. High school sweetheart. Got married. But we couldn't feed the baby. We couldn't get the bottle right. We didn't know how to do it. Kept pouring the formula all over the baby face. You know, just all over the child face. And we freaking out, thinking the baby gonna starve. And she now made an international call, because we, you know, it wasn't like it is today. This is in 1995. She now made an international call back talking some, and she on the phone crying to her mama like, we can't feed the baby because we can't get the bottle through, and we didn't know what we're doing. And I just happened to pull on the thing, and it popped through, and it sealed it. We had no idea. We were like, our first child was treated like a toy and an experiment, because we didn't know what the heck we was doing. We needed parenting. All right? We needed some parenting. So just because your child's 18, just because they're 20, my 21-year-old, she calls me asking me for fatherly advice all the time. Don't stop parenting your kids. And if you're in a blended situation, the longer you are patient with the other kids, and I'm saying other only to signify that they are not your birth children, but they are your children, you have to make sure that you take your time to learn them. There's no rush. You will be there. They will be there. Now that leads me to another aspect of it, right? That your kid, my kid crap. Especially if you're a dude. I'm telling you right now, if you're a man, I have less patience for you than I do for a woman. But if you're a man and you are dating a woman, marrying a woman who has children, guess what? You get married to her, them your kids. They ain't her kids. They ain't her baby daddy kids. Those are your children. And I will say, and for the women, you marry a dude and he got kids, I don't care how often y'all see them. I don't care if he's not the guardian, the one that has the kids all the time. Those are your kids. Y'all are family. If you sitting up there with the your kids, my kids stuff, no. Now the kids may not be calling you dad or pops or whatever. They may be calling you, you know, Mr. Lorenzo or, you know, Miss Mary or Mama Mary or, you know, whatever the name they decide, and then whatever it is. Now, I do think it needs to be something respectful. No, they're not calling me Lorenzo. That's not happening. I don't care. But those are your kids. You have to treat them just like you would treat your kids. If not, don't date anybody who got kids. Stay away from that situation. And stay with the woman that you marry, or stay with the man that you have kids with. Because if you blend the family, you best blend the freaking family. Blending the family means that you can't separate it. When it's blended, it's all mixed in together. It is not to be divided. So there isn't anything. I was talking to a young lady the other day, and she was saying that because she has kids, and man, she's going to be with, going to already have kids, that, you know how people do like the unity candle, one flame and all that kind of stuff, or she is like, she want to do the sand, and the kids pour in sand, all the kids pouring in some sand, the parents are pouring in some sand, and everybody's pouring in some sand, and then shake that mess up so that you can't separate, so that there's no separation. And I like that idea. I'm not really big on weddings and stuff, but I like that idea. Even if you don't do a wedding, I would even do a blended family ceremony, just to signal, just to show physically that we are one. Even if the other parents don't want to get involved, just you, her, and all the kids come together at some point and just have a little ceremony, blending it, and let that be a visible representation that we are inseparable, cannot separate. That we are now family. This is now your brother and your sister. This is now your son and your daughter, and it doesn't matter how old they are. Like I said, my oldest is 21. I get married. That's a parent, and you best be ready to parent a 21, 22, 30-year-old, however old, when it happens. So, I can't tell if Facebook is still showing it. It won't. I can't scroll down. Like Sharice, I can't see what yours is saying. I just know it says it's much easier to, but I don't know what the to. Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm sorry, Facebook. Y'all been saying stuff, but the thing ain't scrolling. A long time ago, Sharice said that it's much easier to raise an emotionally healthy child than it is to end up trying to fix a broken one. It sure is. Mallory said, this is the most awesome spoken truth. Please listen to your children. Mallory is my niece. And see, okay, Mallory is perfect. Mallory is perfect. So I'm going to tell you business, Mallory. See, Mallory is my niece from my previous marriage, from my first marriage, from Kim. So Mallory is Kim's sister's daughter. But guess what? Mallory will always be my niece. She will never not be my niece. Do you think some paperwork decided whether or not Mallory is my niece, or her sister Constance is my niece, or her brother Malcolm is my nephew? No. They will always be my nieces and my nephew until forever. And the paperwork has nothing to do with it. So even in the extension of the family, you don't separate family just because of some god doggone paper or somebody got some butthurt emotions. You know, you keep the family as long as you want to. And a long time ago, Miss Anderson said, because I'm gonna call you one day. I think it's Shinko, and make sure I'm saying that name right. That's that Marine Corps stuff I made myself. Oh, talking about when we was doing push-up, mountain climbers. Yep. David said chores. David Luther Brackett said chores help. Taking phones. This is back when we was talking about discipline, so I'm sorry I missed out on some of that stuff. Because I didn't know I had to physically scroll for Facebook. If I was a child, the worst punishment would be having them sit. Yep, sitting. You got that right. I think that the military makes you think that you can have a family and kids so young. When you look back, you realize you were on a kid. Right, the military does make you think you have kids. Because everybody has kids when they're young in the military. And you get more money when you have kids when you're in the military. But I wanted to wait. Shay said, our children come together or yours by... Our children together or yours by yourself. Exactly. Because you're not going to have any craziness about the kids not being. It's one family. That's right. Mallory said, I couldn't get rid... my niece Mallory said, that's right. You couldn't get rid of me if you tried. I'm a roach and I don't leave. It's my niece. Ignore her. But she's right. Mallory's not going anywhere. Neither is Constance or Malcolm. And even her uncles and aunts and grandma. I still call my ex-wife mom. She will be Mother Gray. She will be mom for the rest of my life. Doesn't really matter to me. Byron said, I grew up in a blended family. My brothers and sisters are that. Never considered them as step siblings. I'm the youngest of 10. None of us have ever stopped. Exactly. I don't like that step term ever. Martina Rosa said it's easier when they are kids because some of these adult children are very disrespectful. And you're right. Some of the adult kids, because they think they're grown, they got all their emotions all bottled up, and there's so much history has happened. But it just takes a lot of time. The older the kids are, it does take more time, and it's a kind of a gloves off approach to that whole thing. Now I will say, I have several half brothers. With what Shondell said, like my dad. If you watch one of my other videos that I posted about a week ago, I talked about. It was actually the first video I posted about the show Lucifer. I talked about how my dad. I have two older sisters, before from my dad and another relationship, and then there's me. And actually, my mom has two other kids, but my dad treats my brother and sister with my mom as like he was his kids. And then my dad married another woman who already had kids, and we are all just brothers and sisters. That's just how that is. We all just brothers and sisters. When my dad passed away, we all hurt, and we were all there. We're all family. When my sister Denise got married, we all there. Everybody who can make it was there. We are all family. We're all brothers and sisters. I don't say that's my half sister. That's my sister. That's my brother. One of them's out in Texas. Sap. I'm coming out there. I gotta contact him. I'm coming out to Texas early in next year. So we're all family. We're all just family, and that's how we have to look at it. We have to know it that way. We have to know that we're all just family. Now, adult kids are a little bit more difficult simply because of they can have those strong leanings towards their mother, and those strong leaning towards their father. They can feel perfect example. So, a couple years ago, okay, wait a minute. Shinko says, I wish my stepson's mom could look at this, but it's too late for us, I guess. No, it's never too late. I'm going to just say no. Matter of fact, let me pin that by saying, hell no. It's never too late. It is never too late to do anything. If you still have breath, it's not too late. I don't know how old you are, young lady. I'm 46 years old, right? At 46 years old, I know I'm probably going to, I tell my son I'm going to live till I'm 300. And he doesn't believe me. We made a bet. But I'm going to live at least 120. And at 46, that means I got 64 more years? I think, 64 more years. I got 64 more years of life. It's never too late. It is never too late to be able to start working on a blended family. It's never too late to work on relationship. It's never too late to get the stepmom who has an attitude involved. Keep trying to get involved. Even when the kids are grown, it's not too late, because you will have grandkids. There will be weddings. There will be anniversaries. There will be birthdays. There's still going to be events where you are around each other, and you don't want grandkids. Because think about a grandchild. A grandchild comes into the world. Y'all already together. They don't know anything about the past history. They didn't know when you became their grandma. They don't know that you and the husband weren't married at one time, that they was married to somebody else. None of that stuff. The grandkids won't know that. You will always be Nana, Grandma, whatever you get called, whatever y'all names y'all pick. You'll always be that to them. They won't have that separation. So to say that it's too late, no, it's never, ever, ever, ever too late, right? Never too late. So, and I know we said we've tried. Yes, attitude, and yes, he's grown now, but you're still gonna have grandkids. And if she want to be stupid, let her continue to be stupid. But you stand up on higher ground and let her be dumb. Let her be an idiot. Let her miss out on the love and the joy that she could have. Let her miss out. Just let her do it. Me, if the opposing parents or grandparents got a problem with me, that's their problem at the end of the day. I'm not going to be worried about it. I'm going to let them have their problems. My focus is going to be me and my wife and all the kids. If the other parents want to be in league, then we can all work together. If I got one of them that's being an idiot, then I'm going to let them be stupid. But I'm not going to cast back. I'm not going to cast stones at them, because then that makes you look bad. It makes you look petty. Now there's a difference between being petty and just being honest. But you don't have to tell everything. You don't have to say, okay, every time the stepmom or stepdad, and I hate that term, but every time the other parent does something, you don't have to throw it in their face or throw it in the kid's face. You just do what you need to do, right? You just make sure you're doing your part. Make sure and let the kids see it on their own. And as they become more and more into adulthood, hopefully they see that themselves as well. Because let's be real, in most of the world, the divorce rate is higher than the staying together rate in marriage. People get divorced. One of the highest groups of people getting divorced are those who are over 50 years old, right? So the grandkids are growing up getting new grandparents, all right? So, it's something we just have to deal with. And it's something your kids probably going to have to deal with. So it's better if they've seen a situation where everybody got along. Right. Shondell said we just call each other brother, sister, everybody's nieces and nephews. My grandkids are bad. My grandkids are bad. His do no wrong. And if he's blinded like that, then sometimes an outside source. Now, sometimes you got to get some counseling. Dewana, counseling may be in order because a third party may help him see that he does not know it all and that his grandkids aren't angels and yours are horrible. Sometimes, so counseling is an option. Just make sure it's a good, fair counselor. Nori, you're right. It's never too late. I'm working on this right now. It's part of my assignment in raising my higher self and healing old wounds. Exactly. Like I said, I'm willing to work with with additional the other parent as long as they're willing to work with me. But if they want to try to be a saboteur, I'm gonna let them do that and I'm gonna let them hurt themselves. But I will let them know, like, look, I'm here. I'm only here to help the kid become a better kid. I'm only here to help the whole family structure become better. I used to tell, when me and my kid's mom got divorced, I would tell my kids all the time, because they were struggling. It was 12, 7, and 6, I believe, at the time. And they were struggling. And I kept telling them, I said, guys, I know it's hard for you, but one day you're going to have 4 parents that just adore you. You're going to have 4 parents that adore you, right? And if you got 4 parents that adore you, you might have like up to 8 grandparents that just adore you, and a whole bunch of additional uncles and aunts that just adore you, and cousins and everything that just adore you. And I kept telling my kids that over and over and over again to make sure they knew that I would never marry a woman that could not adore them, and that their mother would never marry a man that could not adore them. So their family unit was not in danger. I kept reminding them that me and their mom will always be their parents, that we will always put them ahead of any issues that we ever had. And I just kept saying that to my kids. I kept saying it over and over and over again until that became ingrained in them, where that was their expectation. So when it came to meeting people, they always met people knowing that I would not be introducing them unless that person already understood that we will blend. This person is not going to be a negative impact on them. So how you set these kids up when you first get a divorce, you got to set them up for that. You got to set them up for success by making sure that is regurgitated. And yes, you may have a stupid parent. Let them see the stupidity of the parent. You are not the one who needs to bring that out. And if y'all can, go get some counseling. Counseling is good. Counseling is good. If you can figure out how each parent needs to work, get rid of the egos. Ego is the biggest issue. Ego is the biggest issue that just doesn't make a blended family work well together. And then, because when you can do that, y'all can set up the parameters. You can set up how you're going to live. You can set up the rules of engagement for the house and how you're going to take care of it. Because let's be real. I have a certain way that I want my house taken care of and ran, and a certain way I want things that I would love for things to be done. She's going to have certain ways of living and certain ways she wants the house to be and ran and done, because that's how you've been doing it. My kids are already accustomed to one way of living. Her kids will already be accustomed to a way of living. We got to blend all that mess. We got to find a balance within all of that. All of that. And I got 3 kids. So let's say she got 3 kids. That's 6 got doggone children and 2 adults who all got their own mindset and way of living. We gotta blend all that together, and that takes a lot of time together and communicating and talking, and then physically doing whatever the heck it is that you agree upon and you talk about, right? You can't talk about how y'all gonna spend, I live in Atlanta, so you can talk about how we're gonna spend time together at Centennial Park, and we're gonna spend time together doing, having dinner and going to movies, and then you don't do it. You can't have when everybody's in the house and say, well, I know that my kids, this is what they do. This is how they clean up, but this is how the other kids clean up. So everybody just clean up however they want to clean up, because then you're going to have conflict. Say, hey, this is how I expect the house to be. I expect all you jokers to keep the house this way. Point blank, period. I expect all y'all, based on ages and personalities, if you're going out, you're going to be home this time frame. If there's a freshman in high school and I got a 21-year-old, they're not going to have the same rules. So you have to make it work. for each kid and not show favoritism. No favoritism whatsoever. I wish I could. I can't do it on this Facebook, but there was a person that I wanted to be able to let them do a call in, but evidently you can't do it on a laptop. So sorry, but there was on my Facebook. I wanted to have Pasha do a call in, but I can't do it on a laptop. So I'm sorry, Pasha. So you're just going to have to give me some comments. But I want to know what other things that you guys are dealing with when it comes to a blended family. Like, grandparents can be a pain in the butt as well, and you have to make sure these grandparents kind of keep their if let me phrase, if you got those kind of grandparents or uncles and aunts who, let's say, they were totally engrossed and totally in love with the previous husband or wife, and for them nobody's ever going to be any better, and they don't want some new person coming in with their grandkids and all that. You need to set those grandparents in order. They need to have an understanding. I know it's your parents, so do it respectfully, but grandparents and aunts and uncles, they need to be put in their correct place, right? You're an adult now. You're still your mom and your dad's child, but they do not rule your house, so you can't let them interfere. If they can't respect your husband or your wife, then you just have, they may get less time. They may get less time with them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I got married a second time. It was a rush. I rushed into the marriage. It was completely my fault for rushing. I'm not blaming anybody for it except myself. But I did not get along too well with her parents, and some of their mannerisms I didn't care for. My kids didn't come over there that often. My kids didn't come that often. So, and they knew why, and I let them know why my kids weren't coming that often. But what it did, it opened up dialogue between us for them to understand why I was not subjecting my kids to them. How you doing, Clinton? And it really, at first, they were hurt. They were butthurt about the fact that I told them I don't like the way they speak and treat each other, so I don't want my kids around that, and so they won't be here that often. They were mad at me for a while, but then, you know what, we kept talking, and as we talked, they came around a bit. We never fully got there, but they came around. What's up, Orlando? How you doing, man? Dewana said, how does your relationship coaching work? Basically, it's online coaching. We'll video chat. There are exercises. When it comes to relationship, there are exercises that I have you do together. There are ones I have you do independently. There's one that I have you do that you have to promise and write a contract saying that you're not going to get mad at each other. You're going to turn that into a conversation, not an argument, because it can easily become an argument. But if you go to my website, coachrenz.com/coaching. Oh, the relationship part's not on there. I took that off for a minute because I'm rewriting the advertisement for it, so to speak. But basically, we just go through that coaching process. But contact me, Dewana, and we can discuss that privately. Because I would need to. I don't have like a general coaching type situation. I like to tailor my coaching to the individuals, right? Because I'm not trying to coach the world. I'm trying to coach you. So just contact me offline, and we can discuss that. Contact me through my Facebook or website or on here. Shama said teens that are LGBT are being mistreated by one parent and not the other, or family or member. Now that's an interesting thing, because some people, when it comes to the LGBT community, people are being mistreated because of their political or religious beliefs, which is sad because their political and religious beliefs should actually treat them fairly. You don't have to agree with somebody's lifestyle to treat them with respect and dignity. I may not agree with your lifestyle, but I'm still going to treat you with respect and dignity and love. If you're a drug addict, I may not put you in a position. There may be certain things I will keep away from you or protect myself or protect my family from, but I'm not going to treat you unfairly. If you're I can never say that right. If you're LGBT, it's like a tongue twister to me sometimes, then that has nothing to do with me loving you as a person. It has nothing to do with that. Now, if you got somebody who's mistreating someone simply because of that, then you can do one of two things. figure out why. First, you need to figure out why they're treating them that way. Is it based on their politics? Is it based on their religion? Is it based on their culture? What is it based on? Once you understand what it's based on, and I know this may sound vindictive, throw it back at them. Throw it back at them. Easily. Anytime somebody, if somebody were to come to me and they say, well, I don't like you, I'm treating them poorly, I'm fussing at them all the time because they're gay and they're wrong and they're going to go to hell because it's a sin against God and all that kind of stuff. The first thing that I would ask them is say, okay, so based on your book, Quran, Bible, Torah, whatever it is, do you lie? Do you take God's name in vain? Have you ever stolen? Have you ever beaten somebody? And like, oh, I've never stolen. Really? You've never cheated on your taxes? Have you ever broken the law? Your butt done some things that are against your own book as well. And if you've done things against your book, then who are you to judge that person based on theirs? Now, here's the thing. We're judging behavior based on your book, but you're judging the person as a spirit. You're not. You should be. You can judge a person's character. You can judge a person's actions. Somebody murdered somebody, they're wrong. Somebody beat somebody, steal from somebody, you're wrong. You can judge their action, but you should not judge their spirit, should not judge their soul because you have no idea. The other act, so I would throw that in their face. Now, if, here's the other part. Maybe they don't believe what you believe. And to be honest, if I was Christian and somebody was Buddhist and the Buddhist person is trying to criticize me, I don't believe what you believe. So what does your criticism means nothing to me. If I was Muslim and you're Christian, you come and you criticize me based on your Christian belief, I could care less because your book doesn't mean anything to me. And the other person needs to realize that your book only means something to others who agree with your book. Otherwise, shut up. You have no right to criticize what another person does. As long as they're not breaking the law, as long as they're not hurting somebody else, then who are you to judge what that person does based on your book, and they may not believe in your book. So take your book and keep it to yourself. Because it's your book, not theirs. Realize that the majority of the world disagrees with you. No matter what religion you are, the majority of the world disagrees with you. No matter what political party you are, the majority of the world disagrees with you. No matter what country you belong to, your nationality, the majority of the world is a different nationality than you. It does not matter. The majority disagrees with you. So you don't have a moral or majority right to push yours on somebody else and judge somebody else based on yours, because just as much as you can find something wrong with theirs, they can find something wrong with yours. What does the saying say? That when you're pointing a finger at me, there's three pointing back at you. That's why I point the Marine Corps style. That's how we point the Marine Corps. There ain't nothing coming back at me. It's coming straight at you. I know my Marines get that joke, get that one. So, hey, you wrong, Joker. And all I'm pointing at you. But, so all that stuff, like I said in the very, very, very beginning, we are all energy. We are all energetic beings. All this other stuff don't really matter. It really don't. Nobody's been to heaven and back and with proof. Nobody's been to hell and back with proof. Nobody has shown that any system of government or culture has lasted forever. America will one day die. China will one day die. All countries, all governments one day will fall and a new one will take its place. All religions have grown and died. Philosophies grow and die. There is one philosophy that's still around because all the rest of them are based on it, and that's the hermetics. But it's not something you can codify into a religion anyway. Stand by to stand by. Yeah. Don't know what that means, but okay. But that was a good question. I'm glad you asked that because there are people. There is a couple. I'm not going to name names, of course. But most of y'all wouldn't know who they are anyway. But there was a couple. Blended family. He comes into the family. As the son grew up, they were fine with the daughter, fine with the in-law husband, fine with the grandkids. But the son, he was incredibly feminine. He's never said that he was gay. He's never come out and anything. But the boy is incredibly, incredibly feminine. Oh, one of the few things I remember. Oh, from boot camp, stand by to stand by. I'm with you. I got you. But he was incredibly feminine, and because they were huge in their church, had great position in their church, his femininity became a problem. Because of that became a problem, the mother always is going to love her son. The husband just couldn't deal with it. They eventually broke up. And there were other problems as well, but that was a major issue with that couple. And they broke up because of it. Because I'm holding so tight to my religion, and my position in this church is bold and high, and your son is really, really, really feminine, and that's a problem, and I don't want that in my house, so he got to go. Those kind of issues. You know, I wonder if it was his son, if he would have felt the same way. Just a thought. If it was his son, I wonder if he would have felt the same way. But their relationship ended. And that wasn't the only issue, but that was a major issue that caused other issues. So the question is, they had a great relationship though. They were a great couple together. When I first met them, they had a lot of love, but that issue killed them. Okay, so that's what you meant, Sham. Okay, good, cool. Yeah, that's crazy, and it's sad. It was really sad. Because I really enjoyed that couple. I mean, they were funny too. I mean, I enjoyed being around them because they made, we laughed. We had a really good time. Now, of course, my spiritual beliefs were different, so there were some arguments between me and the husband, but it's okay. We still were cool with each other, even with the disagreement and the arguments. Hey, Alex, who hadn't sent me her paperwork. No, yes, you did. Who hadn't scheduled with me yet late here. But anyway, yeah, I'm telling your business. We that's what being a blended family is about, though. You have to be willing to work through those things, because yeah, we got a schedule. You don't get into a blended relationship thinking everything is going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be a cakewalk. You are going to have some issues. It will be grand if it is, but I'm gonna tell a lot of you guys something right now. A lot of you guys mess up the future of a blended family because you get married, or you have a baby mama, and as soon as guys will generally start dating before the woman will, and they will throw that other woman in her face. You will create the anxiety. You will create the frustration because you just throw the other woman in the face. Not that you shouldn't be with another woman, not that you shouldn't date, but it's just the way you do it. You have to be conscious of how you do things, because you have to realize that this is the mother of your child, and you guys are going to be connected forever. So you can't just be rough and tumbled and just throw it in her face because your ego. And then when she get a man, you trying to rule over her house. No, your ego screws up the potential of a good blended situation. It really, really does. You will screw it up in a heartbeat because you trying to be the man. You trying to have ego. You don't know how to set things up. When I got divorced in 2008, wasn't throwing people in my kids' face, wasn't throwing people in her face, wasn't being disrespectful, nothing like that. Still making sure that we maintain a civil relationship, and she responded in kind, and she never tried to, we didn't have any problems anyway. She was doing the same thing though. She was always doing the same thing. She was making sure it was the same stuff. So when you have that mindset, you're going to have a great situation. Now if you don't, then get some help, get some counseling. I definitely say you should get some counseling, and involve the kids in the counseling too, to find out where the kids' minds are. Okay, I need some more questions. Y'all don't give me some more questions, I'll hang up on y'all. I like Q&A. Q&A is like a strong suit, and I like my Q&A. So what's another challenge in the blended family, right? What's another challenge in blended family? Finances is generally a challenge as well. Wait a minute, before I go there, let's see what Pasha has to say. And next time I do something like this, Pasha, we just might have to just meet up to do it. It's important to know going into a blended family that when a parent changes, or when the kid change, it is a bigger ripple effect due to the dynamics You have to have great communication and willing to compromise. I'm glad to hear you emphasize getting rid of the ego because it can't be all about you all the time. Exactly. And see, I wanted to have Pasha on here, but I guess I should have did Facebook on my phone and YouTube on my laptop, and then I could have videoed her in. Next time, I got you next time, because I just realized that probably would have worked. Shadell said discipline. Well, we kind of talked about discipline earlier in the video, in the podcast. Discipline is very important, and which is why y'all have to communicate about that. Josh told me that I can help. That see, Josh, I need Josh. I'm trying to like sucker Josh in to be my tech guy as well. So y'all just hit Josh up for my tech guy. Just flood Josh with being my tech guy. Discipline, you got to just get into an agreement with it. Nah, y'all hit Josh up. He's saying no need. He got me. But I just want y'all to flood Josh anyway, just because I like messing with Josh. But it's all about discipline. Is all about communicating. It's all about understanding how you guys are going to discipline. Personally, I wouldn't date a woman that we don't have similar styles of discipline already. Because that just makes it easier. Those are some of the cues that I look for in the woman that I'm going to date, because my woman's kids are going to be older teenagers more than likely. I'm not looking at. I'm 46. I ain't got time to be whooping kids. I ain't got time for that. So we need to be on a clear understanding that how you punish them. You punish them that way, I can get down with that. I ain't got no problem. How does their father punish them? That's how I can get down with that. We can work on the team on that one. But yeah, it's all about working team. So I'm gonna make you go back and watch it again, Shondell, just to mess with you. Pasha also said yes. I have Boy Scouts and varsity basketball tonight. Oh, she had Boy Scout. Yeah, varsity basketball. Favoritism. We already talked about favoritism when we talked about adopting. Then favoritism, when we was talking about adopting, if you bring an adopted kid into a relationship, we would talk about how you cannot show favoritism. That the kids have to be. You reward them and discipline them based on their personalities, to which you get to know those personalities. Shondell said, I just remember one of my ex saying that she didn't want me to discipline her kids. Now, type of discipline, compromise. But the fact that you cannot discipline at all, that's not going to work, because then the kids will run over you. You have to be a unified front as parents. If I can't be a unified front with the parent, I can't deal with that chick. It's just not going down. We got to be unified parents. Or I'll go find somebody who can be a unified parent with me. Shinko says, what can you do when the parent has brainwashed the child to the point that they don't want a relationship with you because they believe you have one side, refuses to understand the other side, and now that they are grown, you can't force a relationship. Did you cover this? Is it too much to cover? It's not. Passion, you should have jumped on here earlier, because we already talked about discipline. I just said something else about it. And Sean said favoritism, what destroys family? I can't have favoritism. But to Shinko's point and her question, I had to see it one more time. Don't want a relationship. Now, they're grown. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. All you can do is keep being yourself at this point. Don't change who you are to try to fit those kids, because they grown people. And if these grown people can't start thinking for themselves and they still want to believe things, it depends on what the brainwashing. I probably need to know more about what type of brainwashing. But if it's poisoning against you, you just have to show them who you really are. And if they're not adult enough right now to see you for who you really are, and then it may take another 10 years of them just seeing who you really are, seeing how you treat your husband, seeing how you treat them when they have kids, see how you treat their kids. If they're disrespectful to you, then your husband need to rectify that. He needs to fix that. Now, he should never, I'm going to tell you right now, and I know my niece is watching this, and she knows that this is straight, honest truth. My kids, if they ever disrespect my wife, whomever she, is later, they gonna catch hell from their daddy. Now, I ain't gonna beat them, but they really, with my kids, if I tell them jokers that I'm very disappointed in them and I don't like them, that crushes their little spirit. I don't care how old they are. But I will make them feel the pain that they deserve to feel emotionally because you're not gonna disrespect my wife, plain and simple. And your husband should be that way. He should make sure they're not disrespecting you. And then you just be you, be the best version of yourself. And if they can't see that, that's their problem, because they grown, right? And it may take them time, because brainwashing is hard to get out of a person. It's very difficult to get a person to stop being brainwashed. Pasha says abuse is absolutely unacceptable form of discipline and action. There again, ego and slave mentality has to go out the door, right? I look for other ways of punishing kids. I'll make them do some exercises, and I'll take stuff away from them. And as they get older and I learn their personalities, I try to talk them into the light bulb going off 99% of the time. Sometimes they're gonna get some yelling. Like my son did something about a couple months ago. Oh, he got it. I didn't yell. I don't yell anyhow, but I yelled for me. For me, I yelled. And he got the point. And he he do it again. He's 16. He might get punched in the chest, old Marietta style, just, good punch in the chest. But no, I'm not going to do that. But, I explained to him the repercussions of his actions and what could happen and how that would affect his life and all these other things. And we just talked about it in great detail. Last year with my son, his grades and respecting his mother's husband, his other father, we had to have a long conversation about that. And I made sure he understood that although that is not my house, you will respect that man and his house. You will respect him as long as you're under that roof. You're going to respect him. And the fact of the matter is, even if you're not under that roof and you come to my roof, then you still going to respect him, because that's your mother's husband. So you are going to respect that man. Otherwise, you and I are going to have a problem, right? So it was about me being team parent, not me being, my ego and my son is not respecting him. So, yeah. But, dude, you ain't respecting. If you're not respecting him, you're not respecting your mother as far as I was concerned. So I wasn't having it, and I had to be, I couldn't let my ego pump me up to say, yeah, son, that's right. So, but that's how adult you have to be when it comes to blending a family. It ain't about you. It's about the unit. It's about everybody coming together. I said that's how it should be. Oh no, he knows his dad doesn't play. Okay, good. Because don't let him disrespect that. No, can't have none of that. How you doing, William? Yeah, but got those questions there. This is kind of interesting to be doing both of them at the same time. I just let's see. Shondell said, I just remember one of my ex saying she didn't want me to. Oh, this I saw that one. Oh, yeah, this one. And Dak said the real talk. Yeah, and as they get older, I'm gonna tell you, right now in my life, I'm kind of glad that I would deal with more teenagers than small kids. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the last young lady I dated, she had he was 7 when I first met him. He turned 8, and having a kid that age, it was fun. It was really fun. I mean, we did a lot of wrestling. I mean, I swear that. Now, because he's that age, they're very energetic, but they want your attention. Now, my 16-year-old, well, when they're that age, they want your attention. So we wrestled a lot. I showed them how to, put up some dukes and everything. And we did a lot of wrestling. We built some stuff together, put some shelving together, things like that. We did a lot. They want your attention at that age, so you can do a lot of stuff with them. Right? So that was cool. Now, to date somebody, I've dated a woman who her son was 22 years old. Unless I was ready to play some video games and he was a programmer too, he got a girlfriend. We did double dating and stuff like that together. So a woman who has teenage kids, I just got to figure out. I would have to figure out how to interact with them on the things that they like doing, and how to be a role model for them, basically. Chanel said, I don't have children yet, so I still have a long road to hope. Well, Chanel, you must be from the country with that. I got a long road to hope. So, some of these folks, you on YouTube, so some of the international folks ain't gonna understand that one. But yeah, now if you don't have kids and you get involved with a woman with kids, or you get involved with a man with kids and you don't have kids, now is an interesting scenario as well, because you're coming in with no experience. They got a bunch of experience. You may need to take their lead for a little bit, see how they deal with kids. Because like I said, when my first daughter was born, I feel so bad. There's a video that my child has and my oldest girl has. And that video shows just how unprepared we were to have a child, that we didn't know jack. And we were doing things with her that DFAS might just, they probably come and take the child away, because we were treating Sydney like she was a toy. You know, we treated her like she was a baby doll and she was a toy, and we just doing all kind of crazy stuff with her. And we just didn't know. We didn't know how to do stuff. We didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't understand why at 7 o'clock she cried until 7:15, then she would go to sleep. I didn't get it. So it was like driving crazy. And I'm looking at her like, why do you keep doing that? You know, stop. It doesn't make sense. You know, we didn't know a lot of stuff. But then you learn from the first one. It's kind of like that commercial where the parent is like so cautious about the first child with wiping everybody's hand. But then the second child, she just handed to the greasy-handed mechanic because she's like, yeah, I got this. So if you never had a kid, you learn from the other parent first. Don't try to jump in like, oh, I know everything to do. Learn first. Pastor said blended families require both parents to be mutual. Your weakness will be exposed. Exactly. And both parents do need to be mutually. That's why it's an agreement. It's something that you have to both, all y'all need to come together. And there's nothing wrong with all 4 parents coming together and having a conversation about raising these children. Reese said, I don't have any children and I'm 35. I'm sort of fearful of what can happen if I date a man with children. I tend to bump into guys whose children do not have the best behavior. Yeah, you know, at 35, most guys got kids. Most of them got some kids. And now I would tell you one thing that can mess up. If he's not the custodial parent, right? And y'all and the kids are coming over. I made this mistake the first 6 months of me and my kid's mom being divorced. Every time the kids came over, it was fun time. It was vacation. It was, we just gonna go have fun. You don't have any chores over here because we're just having fun because I haven't seen y'all in all week and you've been with your mama. And then when Kim realized that all she was doing was schoolwork with the kids, we started doing it every other weekend. So now I was like, I ain't seen y'all in 2 weeks, so we just gonna have fun. And my kids got a little undisciplined at my house. They started treating things like any old kind of way and all that. So they, for all intents and purposes, they could have appeared to be bad kids to somebody on the outside, because in my house, it was just doing whatever you want to do, having fun, party time. So they seemed like spoiled little ingrates for a little bit, for a minute. And then it was me looking at my budget and realizing I was spending way too much money every month, that I was like, oh, there's a problem here. And then a friend of mine who was a therapist, she was like, you know, they come to your house, they gotta have rules, they gotta have chores, it gotta be the same way. You gotta keep the same thing going. You can still have fun, but it gotta be like a regular household. It can't be like party time, and then mom's the bad guy who gotta do all the work. So if a guy is if you're having that situation, see if that's what's going on first. That he's fun dad, he's their friend, and if that's the case, then life at his house need to be similar to life at their mom's house. Other than that, unless you got the woman is poisoning the kids against him ever having or ever dating somebody, then that's the problem. He will have to handle with her, and they will have to come to an agreement of how they're going to raise the kids. And if they just going to raise some kids in a way that you can't deal with it, then that's just not somebody you should date. Plain and simple, because the kids aren't going anywhere. Or unless you want to wait it out and let them develop and see if they become better. But that's a choice. If a woman had bad kids, what I did would determine the bad kids. And the kid's father was not want to be on team, let's get these kids right. I don't know if I would want to deal with that. I may not. I don't know. She had to be one hell of a woman. And I got patience to say, one day them kids going to be gone. It's just going to be me and her. And we're going to move to an island somewhere, just the 2 of us. And we're going to be good and happy. And see the kids on holidays. Then I don't know if I would deal with it. I might have to say, nah. like I said, I'm 46, man. I'm not heading to a twilight, but you know, I want to spend the next 50, 60 years having fun. You know, Dak said he would roll out. He's done. He ain't hanging out with a woman with bad kids. That's why it is so important that if you're about to break up, you're in a breakup, you just broke up, it's so important for the parents to get out of their feelings before you start dating. Get out of your feelings. Create a friendly parental relationship between you and the other parent before y'all start dating, because if you don't, all y'all gonna have is messed up relationships, right? You're setting. Be selfish. Let's be selfish. If you're the only person you're really hurting is yourself when you don't have a good relationship with your baby's daddy or your baby mama. You're just hurting yourself. You know, especially if they're involved. Now, if they're not involved and you're just going about your life, I usually would not go any further with the relationship. Good, but I just wanted to get a different point of view. I dated a woman. Her son, he had issues. I'm not gonna put his business out there. He had issues, but she was willing to. She wanted her son to get better. She wanted him to not have those issues. So, because she did, I was willing to still date her, and I was willing to, do the best I could. I mean, the boy was already like 17 years old, but I was like, okay, I can be here and I can, be the mentor role, but we just have to, I just let her, it was worth developing. It was, because she was on team, we could work it out. If she wasn't, if she was like, well, that's my son and that's how you do it and that's and this and that and this, now then, yeah, no, we'd have called it a day right there. So, that's how that would work. Somebody's trying to call me who know what I'm doing right now, but they just absent-minded, and I'll talk bad about them later. But you guys got any other questions? We almost at the hour and a half mark, to which is where I try to keep these one right now at an hour and a half. I know me and Kevin will go 4 hours, but I'm gonna show Kevin how you can do something in an hour and a half. But in all fairness, he gets way more questions than I get, so I'm pretty sure that this will eventually be a much longer broadcast as well. Josh says, when you gonna let me order my popcorn online? Dude, really? Call me and order it. Call and order. It ain't that hard. I told you can go ahead and call and order it. Byron says you gotta be persistent. You gotta be persistent with them. Josh says he hate calling people. Whatever. You don't hate sending me them little name messages, so send it on, messages. Yeah, boy, you call me. Hey, that ain't what we talking about. God dog it. Distractions. I was about to get a Lion King right there. But yeah, so we are going to get ready to shut this down. I really appreciate you guys spending this time with me. I hope that we can continue to bring great content for you guys. Hey, if you like everything that we're doing, you can either support my channel on Patreon. For my YouTube channel, you can support it on Patreon. You really want to support, you can go to coachrenz.com/coaching, and you can purchase my book, How to Escape Mental Welfare, for only $4.99. And if you are looking for relationship coaching, spiritual coaching, life coaching, success coaching, and many of you guys know that I used to be a personal trainer. I am going to do, at the request of some other people, I am going to do a health and wellness program as well, distance health and wellness program. So if you guys are interested in any of those things, and those things do support the channel and allows me to be able to do stuff, and as I grow my popcorn business, I'll have more employees and I'll be able to do more shows and everything. So you guys have a great night. I enjoyed the communication and the conversation. Send me some more messages about other content that you guys would like to talk about, right? Because I'll talk about Tantra, I'll talk about chakras, we can talk about spirituality, we can talk about money. I was going to do finances tonight, but I think I might do that next week. But let me know what you guys want to continue to talk about. And Josh told me he needs the health course after he get my popcorn. My popcorn is part of the health course, dude. But for all my people in Marietta, y'all know I'm in Alpharetta, so y'all should be coming over here and buying this popcorn and buying popcorn for your corporate accounts and all that kind of stuff. So y'all have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself. Why? Because your greatness is non-negotiable, and I am out.